This is Copper News 24 and welcome to Expert Opinion. I'm Ojoko Helen and this is Mr. Dimeji right here with me at the studio. Welcome.
Yeah, my name is Dimeji Fashola. I'm right here to talk about this important topic.
Our topic is very sensitive and it has to do with insurgency in Nigeria. I hope you're ready for it.
Yeah, absolutely, because it's something that is telling on every one of us as Nigerians, and we need to lend our voices to this to address it.
Okay, so let's take a look at what insurgency is. Insurgency is a violent armed rebellion by small, lightly armed bands who practice guerrilla warfare against a larger authority. Nigeria as a country is famous for its beautiful landmarks, delicious cuisines, and for its rich culture and tradition, but faces a series of insurgencies that threatens the peace, unity and prosperity of the nation. As the 12th Chief Justice of Nigeria, Mustafa, maintained that Nigeria is a country at war with itself. From this statement, it may not be wrong to conclude with the Chief Justice that Nigeria is a failing or indeed a failed state. The situation in Nigeria has now been characterized as being worse than Mohammed Farah did of Somalia and can be worse off than Somalia if the slide is not checked in good time. Let's talk about the insurgency in Nigeria, the causes, effects, and possible solution. So my first question, is Nigeria a failed country when it comes to tackling insurgency? And can it at one point in time be worse than Somalia?
Okay, first and foremost, we cannot absolutely say that Nigeria is a failed country. We are failing, doesn't mean we failed.
Okay.
Then, can Nigeria go back and become degraded maybe to the extent of what we see in Somalia? I think that is a figment of imagination.
Okay.
Nigeria can never return to that point. That's my personal conviction.
With the level of insurgency that is
Yeah,
around.
with the level of insurgency, it's just to do and put in instruments and mechanism to tackle the insurgents. But I don't see Nigeria becoming a war-torn country.
Okay. Boko Haram, founded in 2002 by Mohammed Yusuf in northeastern Nigeria, of which since 2009 has carried out series of assassinations and large-scale acts of violence in the country, and yet has not been extinguished. Do you think that Boko Haram has come to stay for the worse?
Well, this again is a relative opinion of people.
Okay.
I feel personally that Boko Haram can be tackled and get rid of from our country because it has a beginning, and whatsoever has a beginning should have an end.
Okay, the meaning of Boko Haram is Western education is forbidden. Is Boko Haram scared of Western education? Are they scared of civilization? And why?
You see, in the first place, the people who created this Boko Haram actually had Western education.
Yes.
So I see a bit of the height of hypocrisy in all this. If you had gone to Western education and you've gotten enlightened and then you come back to say the Western education is forbidden, then it's like you want to eat your cake and
you can't condemn what you don't know.
Yeah, you want to eat your cake and have it back. So I believe it's a delusion to say Western education is forbidden.
Okay, before we continue, what brought about Boko Haram?
Yeah, I personally had done...
In Nigeria?
Yeah, personally I had done some basic readings about the Boko Haram. But I feel that this Boko Haram is just like a man who got a puppy and start feeding the puppy with raw meat.
Okay.
And now it's biting people all around and you're complaining. So some of these things we cannot substantiate, but we have some grapevine that some of these people were actually the government creation. So we don't know. I'm not saying authoritatively, but from a grapevine, it has been said that the insurgents group in northern part of Nigeria were actually militias. They are actually people used for political activity to topple the former government. That's Jonathan.
Okay, because I think Boko Haram came about when Jonathan became president.
Yes, that they were hired just to stand by and make the country not governable.
Yes.
But after this, you know, they've evolved.
After
because over time
Jonathan.
they were left and they have evolved to become what we call Boko Haram today. I stand to be corrected, but in every rumor there's an iota of truth.
Okay, let's head to the effect. Children has been adopted, killed, and used as suicide bombers. Villagers has been attacked and burnt to the ground and left stripped of all resources. So why use children to cruelty in the name of Sharia law? Why use children and women, unarmed civilians? Why do you use them?
I think this is a brutality of humanity because the children are innocent.
Yes.
They don't know what transpired. But I feel that it's cowardice to use the children as a bait or as a shield, whatsoever you will call it. If you feel you have grievances, why don't you come up and come out? But you know, it's easy because of the Almanjiri thing going on in the north, where you have millions of children who are out of school and hungry. So they read some verses to them in, pardon me, I'm not anti-Islam, but you know, some people use this as a weapon, and they use these children, giving them promises that when you explode yourself or you go and throw bombs somewhere, if you die, you go to their heaven, you know, and everybody wants to. And
there are 7 virgins.
Yeah, you have 7 virgins, and then you have a stream flowing with wine. So these guys, they are suffering here on earth, so they are looking to a promised hope. So based on this, they can afford to go and detonate themselves, apparently, to the danger of the entire community. So it boils down to lack of education and the out of school children, the Almanjiri children. These are the ones that are being used for suicide bombers. Okay,
so let's talk about, according to Vineyard, the Vice President Kasim Shattima stated that insurgency inflated $9 billion damages in the Northeast. But about 9 to 10 years ago, when he was still the governor of Borno State, he actually asked the federal government to discuss with Boko Haram to rescue the Chibok girls, to discuss about the rescue of the Chibok girls. Why giving them the opportunity? Why is that statement necessary? Why did they give Boko Haram that hand for negotiation? Is it good for the government, for the federal government, to negotiate with terrorists?
At some case, there must be somebody that will take the place of a devil's advocate. Okay, so I don't want to speak concerning his person, but I know that sometimes somebody has to take that role to do the talking. That doesn't mean it supports them 100%, because whatsoever we say, we must have proof to substantiate.
Why not send the military in? Why negotiate with terrorists and give them ransom for the kids to come out, only for them to use that ransom to buy more ammunition and still continue the cycle of kidnap in Nigeria?
Well, looking at it psychologically, you're dealing with people who have no heart, no conscience. And then you are talking about children. The children are the future of Nigeria. So there are phases to warfare. You can, if they are open for negotiation, you negotiate with them. Not for the sake of these Boko Haramists, but for the sake of the future of Nigeria, who are the children held in captivity. If I were the one, I would explore that option to negotiate for the sake of the children. Because when you damage and destroy the children, you're actually destroying the future of this country.
Okay. I would like to quote late Sani Abacha. He stated that any insurgency that lasts for more than 24 hours, a government official has a hand in it. How true is this talk?
Well, that is his own opinion. You
Okay.
know, he's entitled to his personal opinion.
Okay.
Government would always want something good for us. Although, to be frank, there are some governments that don't want something good for the citizen. But whatsoever anybody does, it's based on his personal conviction and the way to move this country forward. So, on this ground, it is smart to look at it from the angle of what is most beneficial to the citizens. Okay? Is it beneficial to the citizenry? Sending bomb to that place they were. What colossal impact will it have on Nigeria? You understand? So, vis-a-vis what they are doing as well, we have lost so much from the attack.
Okay.
Sometimes you don't use reprisal force to counter a negative force. Sometimes negotiation is appreciable as a country because we need to explore all diplomacy until it becomes null and void. Then we can go into battle. And obviously, Nigerian army, we give them kudos. They tried their best in dealing with the insurgents as well.
But since 2002 till date, and they still be series of kidnap and killing and bombing in far north. Don't you think it's time for the military to step in, like full charge? Probably evacuate the citizens there, evacuate them, take them to somewhere else, or create a camp for them or something. Then take full charge, go into there and fish them out.
Yeah, when you
end the talk once and for all.
It's quite possible when you talk about the stratagem or the way to deal with this. The military, Nigerian military, is one of the best in the world. We have the strategy, we have the means to deal with this. But what we lack here is the willpower.
Okay.
What are those people backing up these people called Boko Haram?
Okay.
You know, beyond Boko Haram, you need to look at the political extension and the godfatherism.
Okay.
So, if peradventure these people are being backed up by some strong people, quote and unquote, Nigeria talk about the cabals who have hijacked this country, if truly they were the ones behind these people, which I'm not saying categorically, okay, it will be very difficult to deal with them. Because, again, when you put ammunition, weapon for weapon, you see that the Boko Haramists, they have sophisticated weapons, even better than our army. So, what a lot of things is entwined in this. Corruption is entwined in it. The willpower to deal with the situation is entwined in it. Godfatherism is entwined in it. So, it's all wrapped up. So, again, we can give it to Sani Abacha to an extent because when you critically look at what is happening in Nigeria, you know that the willpower is not there. Because we've seen the president, I would not mention his name, who completely raided a whole community.
Yes.
And the entire world cried foul, but nothing was done. So it has to do with the willpower to deal with it decisively.
Yes. All right, so let's talk about Nnamdi Kanu. He was arrested in Kenya in 2021 and charged with terrorism, which makes him a terrorist at some point, although the charges were later dropped, but he's still being held at the DSS since 2021. But Boko Haram has been given room for negotiation, they've been given room for ransom, they've been given room for pardon. They were even pardoned, forgiven, baptized, and taken in. to the military.
Okay.
How well is that?
Yeah, sometimes I don't like comparing these two organizations, pardon me. Because their agenda is quite different and the approach to deal with each organization, both are illicit, they are not good as it were, but we need to be objective in dealing and discussing them. In this discourse, we need to look what is the agenda of IPOB and what is the agenda of the Boko Haram. So with that, we can deal with the two decisively. IPOB is calling for secession. Okay, and secession, there is a way you go about secession. Remember, this is a federal country, and a federation, it is very difficult for you to go about secession. Okay, so the approach is not through violence, the approach is not through incitation, you know, because it was actually inciting. You understand? From his speaking, I've listened to some of his speaking, they are treasonable in nature. So if truly you want secession, then we could go to referendum. We can go to Hague, you know, World Court, and begin to tender this referendum and this agenda, and then we can secede peacefully. But when you begin to call for heads, you begin to call for people to pick up ammunition, then you are causing chaos. And if you cause chaos, you are liable to the law that says don't do it. Okay, but the Boko Haram is something that came up as a result of they wanting to Islamatize the entire Nigeria. So the agenda is not just Western education, because the Western education is attached to a kind of religion, so to say. So now, if you say we should give away Western education, what are we going to go back to? We are going to go back into Sharia. We are going to go back to the Islamic education. So their direct attack is on the education, but by extension, it's holistic. Okay, so these two organizations, their agenda are different. So because of that, the way you will deal with Boko Haram will be different from the way you deal with IPOB and Nnamdi Kanu.
Okay, but stating fully well what each organization has actually been up to, Boko Haram has actually caused more harm to humanity than IPOB. I understand that IPOB they're just trying to go on their own and be Biafra and be their own country. If Boko Haram is trying to force down Islamic nation down Nigeria throat, what about the Christians? What happened to the rest of the religion apart from Islam?
Now, to be frank with you, I'm not justifying any of the two. They are both a way, they are both wrong in approach. Okay. They are both wrong in approach because one, we have the right of religion. We have the right to choose. Today, I may be a Christian and tomorrow I'm convicted, I become a Muslim. So we have the right, freedom to choose religion, apart from freedom of movement, freedom of speech. Okay, but if any of them is found wanting by the Constitution of Nigeria, or by extension, they break the law, they should be decisively dealt with according to the law. That is my personal conviction.
Okay, let's talk about the possible solution.
Yeah, the solution to, we have a bifurcated topic now. We're talking about just opposing IPOB with Boko Haram. So first, let's look at the Boko Haram. The first thing we need to do is to get those children off the street. As long as we have the Alumanjuris, as long as we have children who are supposed to be in school roaming the street, they become a weapon, so to say. So this concept of weaponizing them and making them danger to the society would be drastically controlled, because they are back in school, and with the school environment, they are enlightened to see what they can become. So one of those big problems to tackling Boko Haram is first get those children off the
Yes, but isn't that another problem? Like, the Northerners, they don't even send their female child to school.
No, it's gradually changing.
It's gradually changing.
Yeah. After all, we have female ministers, we have we have female doctors, we have female lawyers. You know,
the elite ones.
Yeah, but
The
this
elite
thing
ones
about
in the
women,
north.
I don't want to digress. This
Okay,
thing
yes, we
about
should not.
women
Okay.
actually is across the entire nation, because it has to do with culture. You know, even the Igbos, sometimes in the past, women, the Igbo are more freer because they practice what we call the acephalous kind of system, whereby everybody have the right. But down the Yoruba, the women are not seen as equal. So it has to do with gender thing. Okay, so but it's more prominent in the north because their culture back it up, and they have some kind of religious concept about it. But what we are saying now is that a lot of the northerners are going to school. I tell you, my friend went for a master's program in London, and he was surprised that over 70% of those people in the master class coming from Nigeria were from the north. And guess what? They were mostly Fulanis. Okay, so what are we saying? We are saying that things has to change. I think what we need is more of advocacy and enlightenment to make them understand that these children need to go to school, and the female daughter has to go to school. Everybody has the right to education.
What about policies? Can government bring out a policies that can actually enable the children to, in their own self-will, leave the arms and just do something else?
The thing is that I don't think Nigeria is short of policies and laws. It's just implementation.
Implementation.
Our problem is implementation. If you have the public school is to absorb these children, okay?
And then the Boko Harams go ahead and bomb it up.
It's all because they are against the Western education. And that's why they attack. For me, it's cowardice.
Okay.
If you want to attack. If I want to fight my peer. Fighting somebody using children, it's a very, very wrong way to engage.
Okay, what about in the side of the military? How will they tackle it? Like, profoundly.
Yeah.
Tackle it, spearhead it, and get results. Okay. Not just negotiating all the time. Get results from tackling, and make sure that they chase them far off to wherever they want to go to and continue their insurgency, but not in Nigerian borders.
Okay. First is that the military needs to be empowered with sophistication. Okay, when it comes to strategy,
don't we have enough sophisticated weapons?
We do to a large extent. Yes. But these guys,
I know that if Nigeria wants to work,
they have funds coming in. So that's one. A more sophisticated approach to attacking and overcoming these people is paramount.
Okay.
Then apart from that, the northern border is porous. Okay. So all through the northern region, to enter into Somalia, to enter into Niger, so it's a free for all.
So in conclusion,
so we need to secure the borders in the north, empower the military to be able to fight and conquer the Boko Haram,
yes,
and then we need to get those children off the street.
Yes. Thank you very much. I actually enjoyed talking with you.
It's a pleasure.
All right, join us again on Expert Opinion. I hope you enjoyed watching. Stay tuned.